God, I think in my teen years, I was just very much like low self-esteem, very insecure, and I was just like craving attention off men. And I just wanted any kind of love. I thought that you got love from like sexual things, and if some I do feel like it was pretty much like going through your very first breakup. And because you're so young, like it feels really deep. And because he was working away, he worked away in London, so we're miles away up north in Middlesbrough. So I didn't get to see him. I look back now, obviously, as a parent, and I think, oh, my poor mother, me coming home, this guy's left her, and I'm going to him, and I'm coming home crying for my dad, and she's like, I'm doing everything for you, and, you know, you're crying over this man. And she never, ever made me feel like that. It was always comfort. But I do think that kind of set the tone as to where my life was going to go in terms of like men, attention, self-worth, self-esteem, and a bit of therapy probably could have helped that.
Could help, yeah.
Yeah.
From what I understand is this was a council estate that you lived
Yeah.
in. So I wasn't aware of council estates coming from the States. We call them projects.
Yeah.
But if you could describe what it was like, because I hear differing opinions of what it was like to grow up on a council estate and how that impacted behaviors. So what was it like for you?
So I lived in a place called Grove Hill, and if anyone's from like the Teesside area, they'll know Grove Hill is like not a place that you even wanted to step foot in. It was probably one of the most dangerous areas to live in at the time. I know they've like redeveloped it now, so I imagine it might be better now. But yeah, it was a very low income area. It's weird because I don't know if at that age I really understood the danger. But I think, you know, that could have probably not helped with the anxiety as well. My mum's there on her own as a young woman, and she doesn't really have any protection.
Yes. So you're bringing up a very important point that I don't think we spend enough time thinking about with our childhood.
Yeah.
And that is that as a child, when we're going through traumatic events, sometimes we don't have the language
Yeah.
to describe what it is that's happening, but we know the feeling.
Yeah.
So we take the emotion, and I would imagine the emotion is fear.
Yeah.
And so you don't exactly know why, but but you just know, I feel fear.
Yeah.
I go into this house, I go into this neighborhood, I go into this area, I feel fear.
Yeah.
Perhaps these are underpinnings to this anxiety.
100%.
What about school? What was that like for you?
So school for me, I just remember not really enjoying it. I did have friends. I had like one best friend. She was called Laura. She was like brilliant. She was also, her mother was my childminder as well. So that worked out really well. So I always had Laura, which was brilliant. But I did get bullied a little bit by a girl in that school as well. It was silly things like, if you don't let me copy off your homework, I'm going to call the police on you. And you don't know at 5 that they can't do that.
You've gone through a traumatic event at age 7 with your father leaving. You are in a context, in an environment that you don't always feel safe in. Your mother's doing her absolute best, though, in that. And then at school, it sounds like you don't feel safe.
Yeah.
What were some of those moments that you just can't forget?
It was the last day of school in year 8, and I remember I had this like white headband on, and I hugged this guy just saying goodbye, see you next year. And his girlfriend saw, and her and 2 other girls beat me up from like the bottom of the road to the top of the road. And I didn't know how to fight. Not like I could fight 3 of them back anyway. That was pointless. But the whole school was watching, and I just remember every time getting up, straightening up this headband and carrying on walking, because I just didn't know what else to do. I didn't fight back. But yeah, that was quite brutal, because that summer holidays, I just didn't want to leave the house or be with my friends. We used to go out on the streets all the time. We'd get like a bottle of Lambrini every now and then, which is like cheap wine. And I just couldn't do any of that summer, because I was so scared that I was going to get beat up again.
Again, that moment, though, it seems like what stands out to you is not only physically what was happening to you, but as you just mentioned, the fact that the entire school was watching.
Yeah, it was embarrassment. And it's like, it's a lot of shame that comes with that. However, a lot of them did say, wow, you can really take a punch. And that was like meant to be a good thing. So I actually got some like brownie points for the fact that I could take a beating and I wasn't like in tears.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
So when an incident like that happens, that also is trauma. Who do you tell?
I mean, I had my best friend still. I'd rang my stepdad. He drove me to the girl's house, dragged her out of her house and made her apologise.
Oh, wow.
Which was great, you know. I applaud him for that. That's what I'd do for my own child. But I was just going to make things worse. Like, I didn't want to make anything worse. I never told the school anything that happened because you just get bullied for that. So you're very much stuck. Kids can't really rely on the school to protect you anyway, and you have to just deal with it. But honestly, what I will say is, like, I genuinely feel like that built a lot of resilience in me. And I do think that we go through things for a reason. And I do think we get stronger from them. And I don't hold anything against them. Like, they were just kids, do you know what I mean? But I do think that that did teach me, prior to going into Geordie Shore, how to be resilient, how to deal with shit, and how to move on from it.
Wow, look at that. Are there any other moments that you think were pivotal in shaping who you've become now as an adult?
Oh, God, I think in my teen years, I was just very much like low self-esteem, very insecure, and I was just like craving attention off men. And I just wanted any kind of love. I thought that you got love from like sexual things and things, and if somebody did those things with you, then that was love. And I feel like a lot of that kind of shaped who I am now, which is very much the opposite. And it's funny because obviously we're jumping ahead a little bit now, but when I got with my husband, everyone was like, how can you get with a girl from Geordie Shore?
Oh, well.
Because I've had sex on TV. You can't really, you know, that's a you know what football locker rooms are like. You've got to be a very, very strong person to be able to put up with that level of banter. And he is, thankfully. And he'll laugh about it. But he's just like, she is the opposite of what you think. Like, I don't have any reason to not trust her. Because everything that I did was, you know, I wasn't in a serious relationship. And some people I was seeing on the show. So yes, I was getting with them on the show because I was seeing them. And it's like, she is not the person that you think she is just because she's done things on TV. And he's done far worse than me. It just wasn't on telly.
Look at that. Look at that. But it sounds like what you're saying, though, is that some of what you have done, some of this behavior was shaped going back to you being a young girl.
Yeah.
And your need for attention from men.
Yeah, I was very hypersexual for just like, I'm not that person. And I look back now and I'm like, I didn't actually like doing that. And I used to tell people I liked doing that and I didn't. I was just showing off and trying to get attention. And I thought that was the way to get attention and get love and be liked. And, you know, you do these things, you be the party girl, you be the good time girl, because people like that, boys like that. And actually, as I got older, it was like, oh God. And now when I'm with my husband, and he's like, you were just not like the person that you were on TV. And I'm like, I know, because I'm comfortable with you. And I know I don't actually have to put on this performance that I used to have to put on with everyone else, because I know you're going to love me regardless of that.
I see. So did you, not to put words in your mouth, but it feels like what you're saying is that your childhood and the relationship that you had with other kids, right, at the school, it was so fractured that you became someone else in order to get the attention.
Honestly, I have gone through, especially in Geordie Shore, might be jumping ahead a bit, but I feel like we're nearly there. I genuinely went into that show thinking I was confident, that I didn't care what anyone thought, that I was just loud and outspoken. And I came out of that and I was like, I don't know if I'm pretending. I think I'm pretending. I actually don't think that this is the real me, but how the hell are you supposed to tell? I didn't know how I was supposed to tell what's real and what isn't, what is real and what is fake. And I still feel that sometimes now in the things that I'm going through now. Am I pretending that I'm okay or am I not okay? I don't know how to tell the difference because I've spent a lot of my time in my life masking and trying to put on this act and being somebody who I thought other people wanted to see rather than myself.
This is fair. And when would you say that began?
I would say that began around age secondary school.
Okay.
Yeah, secondary school.
Okay, so this is what, like 15?
Well, probably starting at like 11, 12.
11, 12. Oh.
Yeah, and I think it just got progressively worse throughout the years, especially as you get into more like hormonal teen years and you're doing all the things and you want to be cool and you're putting on this act and then especially going into Geordie Shore, because I used to get so much abuse before Geordie Shore anyway. I was known around town as being the party girl and I was banned out of the clubs for being in there underage and, you know, everybody knew who I was, not for great reasons. But also it was just this act that I was putting on to people, that I was this confident, loud, crazy girl. And then it's like, oh my God, am I?
Yeah, look at that. And you were still partying?
Still partying. Yeah, but you could go out for like a tenner.
5 nights a week?
5 nights a week. And that is no joke. Like anyone from my area from that era will tell you.
That you were partying. Can we spend a second?
Go on.
On partying up north?
Yes.
It feels like, now once again, I'm new to the UK, but it feels like partying in the north is a whole different thing.
Completely different.
So first is, how do you see it being different, especially then? What was a night out like?
Yes.
And why is it different?
Okay. The time that I realised the very stark difference between what happens on a night out in Newcastle or Middlesbrough and what happens on a night out in London, we had producers and most of our producers were from London.
Okay.
And we'd go on a night out and they'd be happy to go on a night out in like skinny jeans, boots, leather jacket. That was their attire to go out. Whereas ours were sparkly dresses, full lashes and 6-inch heels. And it was like, you just go to the club like that? And they're like, yeah, that's how we always go to the club. And it was just, that was the difference. Whereas they'd go to like bars and things and, you know, probably be in for like 2. We had a lot more of a like late party culture, I would say.
So what are you thinking career-wise and what you want to do?
So at this point, I finished working at the tax office and I start working at a bank. So I was doing like the loans. I was the customer service for the loans.
Okay.
And when we actually got asked, this is so cringe, when we got asked to, we start work and you write a little blurb about yourself so that other members of the team can get to know you. And I actually put on mine, I'm only here till I get famous.
Wow.
I was honestly so cocky and obnoxious. Like, I genuinely thought in my head I'm going to be famous. I didn't know how, but I was going to be famous.
But you thought you'd be famous.
I knew.
What was it about fame? Because a lot of people want to be famous.
They do.
What do you think it was about fame that lit you up so much?
I just used to look at people like Katie Price in the press getting all of this attention with the big boobs and all the men wanted her, and I just thought that was what I wanted to be, and that's what I tried to be, just a less hot version back in the day. And I tried my absolute best to be that kind of like infamous person. I thought I wanted the attention. That was everything I ever wanted.
Okay.
And then I got it and I was like, oh shit, this is really bad.
Oh, that's interesting. But so truly at like 16, 17, Katie Price was the person that you looked up to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was because of the fact that she was getting, was it just attention or specifically attention from men?
I think it was, I loved all of the outfits, like all of the little slutty dresses she'd wear and like the boobs and everything was just out all the time. Like, I loved that, and I'd never had the body for anything like that. So I kind of aspired to have a body that I could dress like that. I wanted to wear all of these fun outfits, and I thought that that was what men wanted and that was desirable, and that was my aim for a lot of years, to just be this person that was desired.
This is interesting. So during that period of time, were you in any relationships? Were you dating?
Yes, so I had a boyfriend from being like 17, 18. So it was like the first season of Geordie Shore, I had a boyfriend. And we were so young, like we'd go on holiday and it'd be like, oh, we've got a free pass for holiday. Like that's how young we were. So you'd be like, you could do what you want on holiday, but then you come back and you're with me. And it's like, it's just so young. Like you don't do that when you're in a proper relationship. Oh, well, some do. Like, you know, some people have open relationships. And I don't think we kind of really thought that through too much. So when I went on Geordie Shore and I'm sat in the interview, I'm like, yeah, I've got a boyfriend, but he'll let me get with people. Like, it's fine. I just will have some boundaries there. I crossed those boundaries. So
Oh, okay. Hold on.
okay, we're good.
This is big. This is big. So you're saying you had a boyfriend
Yeah.
when you were when they were casting
When I was cast.
for Geordie Shore.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize this.
Yes.
So even before then, was this a committed relationship?
No, I feel like I was just a bit silly. I wanted attention anyway. So my poor boyfriend at the time, like he obviously had to deal with all of that and the stress that came along with me getting with somebody else on TV, and I had my boobs out in the hot tub. Like, it's not really what you want from your girlfriend.
From your but even before though, you get to Geordie Shore, it sounds like you were, I mean, quite honestly, like just to call it what it is you were cheating on him.
Yeah, well, openly.
Openly.
Yeah.
So is a ethical, non-monogamous
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
So was he doing the same?
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think he was. I think we might have said that he had a free pass when he went to like Iron Apple or something, but I honestly don't think he was. He wasn't really that type of person.
Okay.
I was.
You were. Okay. So you have a boyfriend at that time.
Yeah.
You're just out there.
Yeah.
But he's into you.
Yeah.
You're not into him as much.
I guess so.
Actions. So then we get into Geordie Shore.
Of course.
Because what I'm already helping me is understanding how you viewed yourself before going into Geordie Shore.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine that is to a large degree how you showed up
Yeah.
at Geordie Shore.